It's funny how some days feel like they're set on autopilot. Everything is calm, predictable, almost boring, until one moment drops like a bomb and nothing is the same anymore. That was my exact Saturday. I woke up late, no alarms, no responsibilities, no pressure. The house was quiet. The sun was shining through my window, and I thought to myself, finally, a chill day. Breakfast was lazy, slow, almost ritualistic. A bowl of cereal, a couple of texts exchanged with friends, and a quick scroll through social media. Nothing out of the ordinary. By noon, I was still in my pajamas, flipping channels and wasting time, waiting for anything to give this day meaning. But the truth is, I never expected that meaning to come in the form of pure chaos. And it all hit me, sharp and sudden, at exactly 2 p.m. The strange thing is, the warning signs were there. Tiny, quiet details I didn't pay attention to. The dog barking at the window more than usual. The low hum of something mechanical outside that I ignored. The unsettling silence that seemed to linger in the air just before it all happened. But at the time, I was sitting comfortably on the couch, sipping a soda, barely aware of how fast my whole afternoon was about to unravel. The first strike came not from the outside world, but from my phone. Single buzz. A notification that at first seemed harmless. A group chat blowing up with messages like "What's happening near your place?" and "Are you safe?" I frowned, confused. Safe from what? I typed back, "I'm literally just watching TV." But before I even got a reply, the chaos had already reached my doorstep. It started with the sound deep, metallic, and way too close. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't construction. It was something that made the walls vibrate, like the house itself was shivering. I stood up, heart racing without a clear reason, and walked toward the window. And then I froze. Right outside, not even half a block away, a massive utility pole had snapped and collapsed. Sparks flying, wires twisting violently like angry snakes in the air. The street that had been quiet only minutes before was suddenly a scene of pure panic. Neighbors running out of their houses, cars slamming on brakes, horns blaring. The kind of noise that feels unreal until you're right in the middle of it. My instinct told me to stay inside, but curiosity dragged me closer. I opened the front door and stepped out, just in time to hear the sharp crack of something else breaking. Something heavy, something that didn't sound like it was going to stop. Another crash followed. This time, it wasn't just a pole. A tree, massive and old, came down right in the middle of the street, narrowly missing a car that swerved at the last second. The driver jumped out, yelling, hands shaking, while sparks from the wires hissed on the ground. At that point, it was impossible to deny what had been an ordinary Saturday had turned into something else entirely. People were shouting, some filming with their phones, others screaming for help. My heart was racing, and for a split second, I wondered if I should grab my own phone, document it, be part of the story. But then reality slapped me. This wasn't entertainment. This was happening right here, right now, and I had no idea how far it would go. A loud boom echoed down the block, and the lights inside my house flickered before shutting off completely. Power outage. Now it wasn't just noise and panic, it was darkness creeping in. I ran back inside, grabbed a flashlight, and tried to process everything. Part of me wanted to shut the door, block it all out, pretend the world outside didn't exist. But another part, the louder, more restless part, kept pushing me to see more, to understand what exactly was happening. So I went back out, scanning the street, and that's when I saw the smoke. Thick, dark, curling up into the sky from somewhere down the road. Neighbors were running toward it, some yelling to call the fire department, others just standing frozen, not knowing what to do. My chest tightened. This wasn't just a broken pole and a fallen tree anymore. This was spreading fast. The minutes between 2 o'clock and 2:15 felt like hours. Sirens finally echoed in the distance, getting louder with every second until the first fire truck screeched to a halt near the smoke. Firefighters jumped out, already pulling hoses, already yelling commands. The street, once ordinary, had turned into something out of a disaster movie. And there I was, standing barefoot on the front porch, soda can still in my hand, not even sure if I was awake or trapped in some surreal nightmare. Then came the climax. A sound so sharp, so violent, it made everyone duck. A transformer blew, sending a shockwave through the air, rattling windows and igniting the smoke with a burst of flame that lit up the sky. Screams broke out, kids crying, adults panicking. I felt my legs shake, and for a moment, I thought about running back inside and locking the door. But I couldn't move. I was stuck, frozen between fear and disbelief, watching chaos unfold in real time. What's wild is how quickly humans adapt to madness. Within minutes, people who had been strangers were suddenly working together. Buckets of water passed from hand to hand. Someone guided cars to turn around, clearing space for emergency vehicles. Others comforted the kids who were crying, holding them close, while their parents tried to figure out what to do. And me, I stood there, flashlight in one hand, phone in the other, recording pieces of it without even knowing why. Maybe it was proof for later. Maybe it was my way of coping. Maybe it was both. By 3 p.m., the street was unrecognizable. Smoke still lingered, the ground was littered with debris, and the air smelled like burning wires and wet leaves. But the flames were finally under control, the firefighters moving with precision, neighbors calming down, police blocking off the road. CAD reached its peak, and now it was slowly, painfully, settling back into something that resembled normal. Except it wasn't normal anymore. It couldn't be. I went back inside eventually, sitting again on the couch where it had all started. Same spot, same soda, same lazy Saturday. And yet everything had changed. My hands were still trembling, my heart still pounding, and my mind replaying every second of the last hour like a broken record. At 1:59 p.m., I had been bored, half asleep, scrolling on my phone. At 2 p.m., my world flipped upside down. No warning, no preparation, no chance to back out. Oh, chaos doesn't schedule itself, just shows up, uninvited, and takes over. And maybe that's the point of this story. to remind you that no matter how ordinary your day feels, no matter how predictable your routine seems, everything can shift in an instant. Chaos doesn't wait. It doesn't knock. It kicks down the door and dares you to react. So the next time you think you're having a boring afternoon, remember my Saturday at 2 p.m. and ask yourself, what would you do if chaos came knocking right now? If you've ever lived through a moment where everything flipped upside down in seconds, drop your story in the comments. Want to hear it? Don't forget to hit that like button if this left you on edge. And subscribe for more stories that will make you question just how safe and predictable your everyday life really is.